Recap video number 3. Let's jump into it. Lately, my co-dev Maz and I have been doing in-person playtesting events for our game Mitch. I would really recommend this format of playtesting because you get a lot of feedback that you aren't necessarily looking for. You basically just get to watch people play your game. You get to watch every little movement that they do. And so I feel like that helps a lot when it comes to understanding how people play your game. We have a lot to think about now, and so we're kind of fixing it up so that hopefully it will be more approachable. I also made some zines for one of the playtesting events. It was part of a comic arts festival at our city's library, so I wanted to kind of tie it into that theme of comics, so I made this. Learned how to make a zine. You just fold it in a really complicated way and you have to cut a little slit in it, and then it folds up like this. We were giving these out for free, but if you want one, I have them on my Bandcamp merch page just for $1 and shipping. You can have one, and it's exclusive. This isn't anywhere on the internet. It's a secret. I've been working on a little teeth brushing sim where you get to brush Mitch's teeth. This was funny because I realized that as I was exporting, I had to break everything up really specifically because we needed the toothbrush to be able to land on just the teeth and not the lips. So the background is kind of disturbing because it's basically just a hole in the character's face. I also added a fun little Easter egg, which is there's a spider that appears, and so at one of our playtesting events, someone who was playing, instead of just grabbing the spider and dragging it into the inventory, which is what most people do, there's a cup in the game. He actually went and grabbed the cup and then dragged it onto the spider, to trap the spider in the cup, which we thought was so smart, so we decided to make it so that if the player drags the cup onto the spider, then it will still work. I've also graduated to King's Quest IV, which is actually technically called Princess Quest.
Announcement: I've been playing King's Quest on my weekly Twitch stream.
So it centers Gwydion's sister Rosella, which is the daughter of Graham and Valenice. And so you get to play as a girl, which I was so excited about, and I was so in love with this game. It's so 80s, and it's girly. It's stuff is pretty. I think these games are so humorous in nature, I think that's kind of the point of them, but I love how, it's kind of poking fun at the whole, sexism thing. It's kind of leaning into the fact that it's, you're playing as a girl. I'm assuming that, a chunk of the audience, was women back then, it wasn't just guys. At one point, you stumble upon this, house that's, the house of these dwarves who, work in the diamond mine. So you go into their house and they're super messy, the place is just, a sty. And so you have to clean up, which I thought was funny because it's yeah, it's a valuable skill, learning how to clean up. Domestic labor. Also, another thing about us as Princess Rosella is that we're really good at playing instruments.
Pan has ceased his dancing and now looks at you and the lute curiously. Okay, what do you want to do? Hey? You want to jam?
We play little keys.
Listen to those ornaments. She's good.
We play the lute. We can play the flute. There's also some parts that are just so brutal. There's this giant in the game, or I think it's an ogre actually. But when you run into him, he just grabs you by the braids and drags you off. And then at one point you acquire a shovel. So I thought maybe I could defend myself with this shovel. I tried to hit the ogre with the shovel, and then it told me that I'm not a violent girl. And then there's another part where we are trying to penetrate the witch's headquarters, and she's you're gonna be executed because you're a spy. But then her son, whose name is Edgar, he has a crush on us.
My precious son Edgar has taken a liking to you and he believes you. Who's Edgar? You glance at the homely young man standing next to Lilette. He blushes.
Sometimes your gender can come in handy. I don't know. It's realistic. That's the thing that I like about it, is it's sometimes your gender is a pro, sometimes your gender is a con. Okay, then this is also something that was kind of fun. I stumbled upon this song. I don't really know the artist, but the song is called RBJ. And it's by this artist named LL Burns. Anyway, so it's kind of sexual. It's basically about getting head in nature, out in the ferns, where nobody ever goes, down by the lake, under the stars. You were giving me head like nobody ever has. You were the best I ever had. Now you're gone. I thought this song was interesting because it feels like he's like so torn up about this girl. And I'm kind of like wondering if it's like not necessarily the girl, but like more like about the nature. Because it just feels like it's like such an isolated incident, you know? Like clearly it's like this was like a powerful moment. Sometimes nature touches you. Okay, I also found the worst song ever. It's by 9 Inch Nails. It's called Something I Can Never Have, and it's so awful. I love 9 Inch Nails, but this song is horrendous. And then I also kind of been realizing that I've only really talked about like music made by men. So I want to change that. So I'm going to talk about Martha Wainwright because I love her. I recently read her book. It was really good. She's just such a like Canadian legend. I've been listening to her album called Come Home to Mama. It was written like in the time before her divorce or during her divorce. And I love divorce albums. That's like my favorite genre of music. Another one I can think of is like Carolyn Polachek Pang. There's something just like about like the weight of a divorce that's like, I feel like it's just so rich in terms of like subject because it's so embedded. Like it's not just like an acute like thing, like, you know, like your situationship ghosted you or whatever. Like that's like an acute kind of pain, but it's not like this thing that's like so like wrapped up in your life. Like it's like you have to spend like so much time like going through that, and it's so impossible and so gray. I just love it. Like I need more divorce album recommendations actually. On the topic of relationships, I got dumped. I'm not going to talk about it, but one thing that was kind of funny was like afterwards, I kept like having this like thought about like cutting my hair like Lady Gaga when she was wearing that turquoise bob, like circa 2010, I don't know. I thought that was such a good look for her and I was kind of considering it, but I don't have enough money. But I did get my hair cut. And I really like it, and I really like this blue. When I first got it dyed, it reminded me of this singer named Josh Ramsey from this band named Mariana's Trench. It's a Canadian band. I don't think they're that popular outside of Canada, but I was obsessed with them when I was a kid. They were my favorite thing ever. And I stand by that choice. Like, this is like so deep, like Canadian, like lore. But you could be Mariana's Trench fan or like a Headley fan. And I'm glad I went with Mariana's Trench. So because I've been going through like a weird time, like I feel like I've been regressing in my music taste. But I think there's kind of something comforting about listening to the music that you listen to as a teenager. Because like I often think about this after like a breakup or something where it's like you're kind of like sort of tied into this other person's energy for a while, and then you kind of all of a sudden you have this split and you're just sort of left with yourself. You kind of have to go back and be like, God, like who was I before boys? So that's been kind of healing to be like start to do more of the stuff that I like to do then, which is just like doodle and listen to Arctic Monkeys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Okay, bye.